Ever feel like you're spinning your wheels, like you're putting in the work but not really getting anywhere?
Yeah, I know that feeling. It's like you're stuck, but you're putting in all this effort.
Exactly. So much energy, but so little progress.
That can be so frustrating, right?
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder if there's a better way. What if, instead of trying to make huge changes all at once, we focused on tiny, consistent shifts?
Interesting. So instead of those big leaps, we go for small steps.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. Exploring how small, practical changes can lead to some really significant improvements in our lives.
I like that idea. It seems a lot more manageable than trying to overhaul everything at once.
Right. And it turns out there's actually a lot of science backing this approach. So let's unpack some of these strategies and see what really resonates. We'll be drawing on insights from a bunch of different sources, books, articles, research studies, all about the power of small changes.
Sounds good. I'm ready to dive in.
Me too. And one of the most surprising things we came across is how important the very start of our day can be.
The morning routine.
Yeah, it seems like those first few moments can really set the tone for everything that follows.
I can see that. If you start your day feeling rushed and overwhelmed, it's probably going to impact the rest of your day.
Exactly. And one of the biggest culprits seems to be that almost automatic reach for our phones first thing in the morning.
Oh, I'm totally guilty of that. Scroll through social media, check emails, all before I even get out of bed.
It's almost like a reflex, isn't it? But what the research suggests is that by doing that, we're immediately bombarding our minds with external input, even before we've had a chance to connect with ourselves.
So we're letting outside influences dictate our mood and focus from the very beginning.
It seems that way. And that's why several sources emphasize the power of creating even a small window of time for yourself before you let the world in.
So what are some things people can do during that time?
Well, even just a minute or two of focused breathing can help create a sense of calm and presence. Or you could try jotting down some thoughts in a journal, maybe of things you're grateful for or looking forward to.
I like that. Little gratitude practice to start the day.
Exactly. And even a little bit of gentle stretching can help you wake up your body and clear your mind. It's not about spending hours on a complicated routine. It's just about intentionally creating a bit of space for yourself before the day takes over.
It's like setting an intention, right? Starting the day with purpose.
That's a great way to put it. And speaking of purpose, one source suggested asking yourself this question each morning. What's one thing, even a small thing, that you want to accomplish today?
So identifying one specific goal to focus on.
Yeah. It could be something related to work, a personal project, a healthier choice. You want to make anything that feels meaningful to you.
Interesting. I guess having that clarity from the beginning could help you stay more focused and motivated throughout the day.
That's the idea. It's like setting your internal compass, so to speak. And what's fascinating is that even achieving that one small win early on can create a ripple effect, leading to more positive choices and actions throughout the day.
So that initial sense of accomplishment can actually build momentum.
Exactly. And that brings us to another key element highlighted in our research: the power of building better habits.
Habits, those little things we do automatically, day in and day out.
Precisely. And the research is pretty clear. Our habits are what ultimately shape our lives. The challenge is that most of us try to change too much at once, and that's a recipe for burnout and giving up.
Makes sense. It's overwhelming to try and change everything overnight.
Right. So what the sources suggest is focusing on one or two small habits at a time, things that are easy to implement but can make a real difference over time.
So what are some examples of these small but impactful habits?
Well, something as simple as drinking a glass of water as soon as you wake up can have a huge impact on your energy levels and overall health.
That does seem doable, and I've heard it can make a difference.
It can. And how about committing to reading just 5 pages of a book each day?
Doesn't sound like much, but I guess over time, it would really add up.
That's the beauty of it. Even these seemingly insignificant actions, when done consistently, can create a compounding effect.
The idea is that these small wins accumulate over time.
Exactly. And one strategy that can help make these new habits stick is linking them to an existing part of your routine.
So kind of piggybacking on a habit you already have.
Precisely. For example, after you brush your teeth each morning, you could immediately drink that glass of water.
Smart. So you're using an established routine as a trigger for the new habit.
And the sources really stress the importance of consistency over perfection. Life happens, there will be days when you miss your target, but it's about the long game, not about being perfect every single day.
Makes sense. It's about building that consistency, even if it's in small increments.
Exactly. Now, while we're talking about building habits and making changes, it's important to acknowledge that a lot of this plays out in our own minds.
Our thoughts and beliefs can really impact our actions.
Absolutely. And that's why our sources dedicate a lot of attention to the power of our mindset, specifically something called a growth mindset.
I've heard of that. It's about believing that you can learn and improve, right?
Exactly. And the research shows that people with a growth mindset are more likely to embrace challenges, persist through setbacks, and ultimately achieve their goals.
So instead of seeing failure as a sign that you're not good enough, you view it as a learning opportunity.
That's the key difference. It's about reframing those negative experiences and seeing them as feedback that can help you grow.
And that can apply to so many areas of life, right? From learning new skills to navigating relationships to achieving success in your career.
Absolutely. And one thing that really stuck with me is the idea that many successful people have experienced numerous failures along the way.
It's not about never failing. It's about how you respond to those setbacks.
Precisely. And that's where a growth mindset can be so powerful. It allows you to bounce back from adversity, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward.
So it's about building that resilience, that ability to keep going even when things get tough.
Absolutely. And resilience is such a vital trait for anyone who wants to create a life they love. Now, as we're talking about creating a better life, there is another crucial area that our sources emphasized: our physical health.
Our physical well-being can have such a huge impact on everything else in our lives.
It really does. And we're not talking about making drastic changes or spending hours at the gym. It's about incorporating small, sustainable habits into our daily routines.
Simple things that can make a big difference over time.
Exactly. For example, if you're feeling constantly tired or sluggish, even just adding a short walk to your day can boost your energy levels and mood.
Even a 10-minute walk can help.
It can. And what about making a conscious effort to nourish your body with more nutrient-rich foods?
So adding more fruits and vegetables to our meals.
Exactly. It's not about deprivation. It's about providing your body with the fuel it needs to thrive.
And of course, we can't forget about the importance of sleep.
Absolutely. The sources were very clear on that. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night, and you'll likely see improvements in your focus, productivity, and overall well-being.
I know, I definitely feel better when I've had enough sleep.
We all do, and it's amazing how these small changes, when combined, can have such a significant impact on our health and happiness. Now, beyond our physical well-being, our sources also highlighted the importance of nurturing our social connections.
We are social creatures, after all.
We are, and strong relationships are essential for our mental and emotional health. One piece of advice that really resonated with me was to be more intentional about who we spend our time with.
So prioritizing relationships with people who lift us up and support us.
Exactly. And being mindful of those relationships that might be draining or negative.
Sometimes those are the hardest ones to let go of, but they can have a huge impact on our well-being.
They can. And on the flip side, nurturing our positive relationships doesn't have to involve grand gestures. It can be as simple as sending a thoughtful message or making time for a meaningful conversation.
The little things can often make the biggest difference.
They can. And it's all about making that conscious effort to connect and stay engaged with the people who matter to us. Now, another key element that came up repeatedly was the importance of continuous learning.
Never stop growing and expanding your horizons.
Exactly. And luckily, we live in a time where there are so many incredible resources available to us.
Online courses, podcasts, books, documentaries. The options are endless.
They really are. And the beauty of this is that it doesn't have to take up hours of your day. Even dedicating 15-30 minutes to learning something new can have a huge impact over time.
It's about keeping your mind engaged and stimulated.
And it can be so enriching, both personally and professionally. Now, speaking of personal growth and creating a life we love, there's another area that's often overlooked but incredibly important: our finances.
Money matters.
It's a big one. And the sources emphasize that even small changes in our financial habits can make a huge difference in our overall well-being.
Less stress about money can really improve your quality of life.
Absolutely. And one of the first steps is simply becoming more aware of where our money is going.
Tracking our spending habits.
Exactly. Once you have a clear picture of your income and expenses, you can start creating a budget and making more intentional choices about how you spend your money.
So it's not about depriving yourself, it's about aligning your spending with your values and priorities.
Precisely. And even starting small with saving and investing can have a huge impact down the line.
Building that financial security for the future.
Exactly. And while financial freedom might feel like a distant goal, taking those small steps today can make a huge difference in the long run.
It's about gradually taking control of your finances one step at a time.
Exactly. Now, as we're talking about taking control and creating positive change, there's another important element that our sources highlighted: the need to step outside of our comfort zone.
Embrace the challenge, right?
That's it. And this doesn't mean you have to make huge, life-altering changes. It can be about trying new things, pushing yourself a little bit, even in small ways.
So like taking on a new project at work or trying a new hobby.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that often the things we fear the most turn out to be not so scary after all. And that feeling of accomplishment you get after facing a challenge can be incredibly empowering.
It helps build confidence and resilience.
It does. And speaking of positive emotions, one of the most powerful strategies that came up in our research was the practice of gratitude.
Focusing on the good stuff.
Exactly. And there's a lot of science backing this up. Regularly practicing gratitude can boost our mood, reduce stress, and even improve our physical health.
So how do we cultivate more gratitude in our lives?
One simple way is to start a gratitude journal and write down a few things you're thankful for each day.
It sounds almost too simple, but I've heard it can make a difference.
It can. And even just taking a few moments each day to reflect on the positive aspects of your life can shift your perspective and increase your overall happiness.
So it's about intentionally focusing on the good, even when things are tough.
Exactly. And finally, as we're navigating this journey of personal growth and improvement, there's one more essential ingredient that our sources emphasized: self-compassion.
Being kind to ourselves.
Exactly. Because change can be challenging, and there will be times when we stumble or fall short of our goals.
It's inevitable. We're all human.
We are. And that's why it's so important to treat ourselves with understanding and kindness, even when we make mistakes.
So instead of beating ourselves up, we offer ourselves support and encouragement.
Exactly. And remember, any progress, no matter how small, is still progress.
It's about celebrating those wins, big and small.
It is. And so there you have it, a deep dive into the power of small changes.
It's really not about those huge sweeping transformations.
It's about those consistent daily actions that over time can add up to something truly extraordinary.
A life that's more fulfilling, more joyful, and more aligned with who we want to be.
And speaking directly to you, our listener, as you reflect on everything we've discussed today, what resonates most strongly with you?
Which area feels like the most fertile ground for you to plant a seed of change?
What's one small, manageable step that you can take today, right now, to start moving in the direction of your dreams? It's a question worth pondering as we wrap up our deep dive.
And remember, even the smallest step can be the beginning of an incredible journey.
So take that step and see where it leads you. We'll be back next time with another deep dive into a topic that matters. Until then, keep striving, keep growing, and keep believing in the power of small changes.